The Hamish and Andy Show podcast. Powered by Amy. Lucky you're with Amy.
Right. It's time to get down to business. With your help, Hamish and Andy are covering off on every topic in the world. And right now, there is no topic more important than
recipes.
Before you do a skerrick of work today, make sure you know all there is to know about
Recipes.
when we talk business. We talk.
What's that flavour? Recipes.
I'm Peter Harvey. This is Hamish and Andy's Business Brunch, and business starts now.
Good morning, everybody. Hamish and Andy for the Business Brunch. The staplers out, quills and ink ready, Ham. The essentials for business. We are ready to get down to the latest topic.
We're going to show you how to make a stylish feather hat using quills and staples. You will be the hit of the office as you walk around in your 7-feather hat.
Then that's just a recipe for hats.
We got recipes for everything. And how's this as a recipe for fun on today's show? All we're discussing is recipes on Business Brunch. We only do one topic per day, and today, yes, it is recipes. I've been given by a guy a recipe for a drink he thinks is the greatest tasting drink in the world. I have the ingredients that we can make it.
Wow.
Do you remember in the BFG, that book by Roald Dahl?
Yes, Big Friendly Giant.
There was the special drink they drank, Frobscottle.
But Frogskottle, wasn't
I think it was called Frobscottle or something like that. It was the most... I always remember reading as a kid going, that seems like the most delicious thing in the world.
This beats it, you reckon?
Well, I'm making that aspect up, but I think that's what it will taste like.
Well, is it going to be anything like Coca-Cola on April 23rd, 1985, when they changed the formula and released New Coke?
That was a horrible experience. I've tasted New Coke.
And the overwhelming negative response meant that the original form was back on the market less than 3 months later.
When Vegemite did the same thing, a lot of people smelt a rat and went, we think this is them doing a New Coke.
Yeah.
Just because it just grabs a bit of attention, and then you just give people what they're having anyway, and everyone's like, thanks very much.
So you reckon they did it on purpose just to get lovers of old Coke
New
back?
Coke generally goes down as one of the greatest disasters in the world after Chernobyl.
It's the Business Brunch. The topic, of course, is recipes, and we'll by the end of the hour, we'll have this well and truly sorted.
I think we'll be putting the icing sugar on that cake, Andy. Hamish, you always knew the right thing to say.
HamishAndy.com/topics is how you get involved in this show. Many people have done that. That's why it's time for Fast Biz.
Top three. Number three.
Company man Boomtown Ham.
Boom.
He writes in, says, my mum found an ungarnished pavlova sitting in the storeroom on the shelf.
Whoa.
So just like the base, I suppose.
But hang on. What, so meringue?
Yeah, so like that's normally the meringue base. Crusty meringue on the outside.
Just sitting out, not... Just sitting out.
Just sitting in a shelf in the storeroom, but...
What storeroom? What do they got a storeroom for? That's going to go stale.
Well, that's what she said. She bought it for a special for Christmas, and obviously it would have gone off.
Yep.
He said, I told her not to throw it in the bin, but instead he'd like her to throw it at his face. Wow. And we'll film it. So good from Boomtown, getting his old cheese to
earning his nickname.
Yeah. Anyway, he said we'll probably do this tomorrow. He wrote it on the 19th of April.
Great.
So I contacted him, and he hadn't done it. Okay.
Sometimes mums are very busy, and they don't have enough time in their day to throw meringues at their children.
But what he said is, Boomtown's 21.
Boomtown's got stuff to do, I'm sure. Yeah. But it'd be great to see both of them find a 5-minute window so they can throw meringue at Boomtown's face.
And then he said, I realised when I email you the follow-up vid, because the emails get split 50-50.
I might go to me.
That you might get the follow-up vid. So all I'm saying,
I might be like, what's this? What's Boomtown sending me a video of him unsolicited getting a meringue to the head?
Now you know.
Okay, I'm looking out for it.
Number 2.
And company lady Gertrude Murgatroyd, possible fake name for sure, from Bris Vegas, she writes in, she goes, recipe disaster, or how short-sightedness ruined Christmas. Her great-grandma refused to wear glasses, just denying that anything was going wrong in the old ocular department, until the Christmas when she made gravy, and instead of reaching for the Gravox, she used Ajax.
Oh.
Which I'm pretty sure is poison. Ajax is the cleaning stuff, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yep, and it can come in a powdery form. And maybe it was instead of the flour or something.
Yeah.
She just my theory is she wanted Grey Vox and it had an X, and she saw Ajax and went, too old to check all the letters. X's are fine.
I know letters by now.
I think I've been around long enough to see the alphabet. I'm sure it'll play out the way I assume it will. Anyway, yeah, that no one ate it. It was the waft that that gave off the fact that something was up.
Yeah.
Pan, very clean. Didn't even need to wash it.
Number 1.
Company lady Stella Ham joins us now, actually.
Oh,
Got her
great.
up,
How are you,
yes.
Stella?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Business greetings to you.
Interesting one from company lady Stella. She says, I've been told I make awesome brownies. Are they awesome? You still getting that feedback, Stella?
Yeah, pretty often. Like when I make them, because I make them for my mom's birthday every year.
Yep.
So her office is always raving about them.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your secret? Do you melt chocolate and use more butter than you meant to?
She's not going to tell you. That's the thing.
But that's the
Well, I
secret that
can't tell
everyone's.
you.
But that's what everyone that makes good brownies. Here's my theory: if you just grew a graph, and on one axis was amount of chocolate used, and on the other axis was taste. Pretty much until it becomes just a solid lump of chocolate. If you back it off from there, that's kind of the secret to brownies. Like the more chocolate people are putting in, the more people are going, "This is wonderful."
Stella, is he on the mark?
More or less.
Okay.
There is quite a bit of chocolate that goes into there, but my secret is I'm not telling exactly.
Okay.
Give us the
rearranged-
family of secret it lives in. Yeah.
Well, I rearranged the recipe because I made them one day for like some sporting thing, and I actually got the recipe wrong. But then it turned out better than the other batches had.
So is the order of ingredients, or is it an additional ingredient?
Yeah, the order of ingredients.
Right. Are you whisking something you're not meant to whisk? Because I cooked cupcakes the other weekend and I whisked everything to see what that would do.
Yeah.
And
How'd
I
that
mean,
go?
I've only cooked cupcakes about twice in my life, so that tasted pretty good though.
Well, the thing is, you can ask her as many questions you like, Haim, but she said
I bet you're whisking.
people are asking her for the recipe, and she's considering sabotaging the recipe when she gives it out to anyone.
There is a conspiracy theory that some chefs do that in cookbooks. They do, they do a bit of, no worries, here's all my recipes from my restaurant. Except I've left out 2 eggs from everything. Very noticeable on the eggs and bacon.
Thanks for joining us, Stella.
No problem.
Cheers,
Pleasure
mate.
doing business with you.
Today's recipe's Ando, and when you say the name Mixmaster, one name springs to mind for a lot of people, which is Mixmaster Mike from the Beastie Boys.
Yes.
Not for me. Brent the Mixmaster is who I think of.
Company man.
Company man Brent the Mixmaster. Yep. He's emailed in. First time he's contacted the show, according to my files. hamishnandy.com/topics. Recipes is what grabbed his attention.
Good.
He writes in, from a young age, everyone's parents have a party. They leave the soft drink table unattended. And it's there we all start our secret formulas. I personally stumbled upon the greatest drink mix ever. It's simply known as Drink X. It will never be made commercially available, though. This is the tragedy.
Why?
Because it requires 3 drink brands that are arch nemesises. He writes in brackets, I think. It requires them to cooperate, Ando.
Never going to happen.
Now, that's the tragedy. That is a tragedy.
It's like what we talked about with some of our favourite fast food. The burger we like from one place does not match up with the chips that we like from another joint.
They're never going to do it. I highly doubt Mad Max is going to go, yeah, cool, you can have KFC chips here, and then why don't you nip over to Boost for a King William? They're just never going to offer it to me as a meal, and when I buy them separately, it's highly cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
So you're forced to just go from the one store.
Unless you pull into one of those roadhouses that has everything, and that's the time where you can get everything within an allocated amount of
Just
time.
the cost factor, though.
Cost hits.
You start stepping outside of value meals, and you paying retail for everything, and not getting the discount of the value meal is it's madness, and it kind of ruins the meal. Ando, I have in my hand a cup of Drink X.
Wow, have you made it?
I've made it.
Have you made it? Have you got the right portions?
Yeah. I almost want you to drink it first, and then I tell you what's in it.
Wow. Okay. Can we do it like Massive, where I drink
You
it?
can have a go. I mean, you'll get a bit of it. There you go. Careful. Don't drink it all because I want some.
Okay, the Cup X. Gee, it looks good.
Drink X. And now it's three equal parts of 3 soft drinks. Remember, they are arch rivals.
I would say the texture and colour, is probably a mix between raspberry and Coca-Cola.
Sure.
For people at home. Plenty of
Jesus,
fizz.
you get this, though. How's that? It's often described as the smoothest drink ever.
Gee, it's really good.
Drink X is delicious.
Well, there's raspberry in there.
Yep.
I think there's Coke in there, but I would say that there's more raspberry than Coke.
Okay.
And you say there's a third?
You're failing miserably, Ando. Why don't I just tell you what's in there? It's 1 part vanilla Coke.
Yes.
It's 1 part Schweppes brown creaming soda.
Yeah.
It's 1 part Kirk's pink creaming soda.
Wow, okay.
They all have a vanilla aspect.
They
That's
do.
why you're tasting such a smooth drink.
Yeah.
But it's the brown and red creaming sodas mixing that Brent the Mixmaster thinks really sets it off. And then you've got a base of a solid thing like a
Is there a
vanilla
different
Coke.
taste with the brown and red different?
When you Brent,
creamy?
there is. And this is how it started. It's the smoothest drink of all time. And that's the tragedy. People will never be able to buy it in a bottle. Drink X.
It's delicious.
Give us a bit.
It really is
I only
good.
had a little sip. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. It's the best. How's he getting his vanilla Coke?
I know
Is it-
we're essentially just sitting in our studio drinking soft drinks, saying things like yum, and it's so good.
Takes me back to about 6 years old at a birthday party.
But these are the facts. I mean, this is
Yeah.
our job here at the Business Brunch, and if something's beautiful, then we're just going to stay on air, drinking soft drink, saying things like, I'm loving this taste.
It's Hamish and Andy's
I
business
guess not.
brunch.
And a little bit of business here from company man Tyson Lawman again.
Oh, the
It is
Lawman.
the Lawman Texas Ranger.
Good man.
He's been busy on the emails,
Yeah.
and one of the things he wants to discuss to do with recipes involves Master Chef doyen Matt Preston.
Oh, right.
Who also joins us on the
Oh,
line.
great.
How are you, Matty?
Very well, gentlemen.
Oh, thanks for joining
Thanks
us.
for doing
Matt
this
Present.
at short notice and without knowing what it's about. But I wanted to read you. Read you this correspondence that we had sent into the show. Today on the show, all we're discussing is recipes.
Yep.
Now, this is Tyson Lawman. He's only 17, so you understand where his palate's at when we explain the recipe here. But he said, I bet that Matt Preston from MasterChef could identify the 11 secret herbs and spices by tasting them. That dude got it covered. Now, to young Tyson, Matt, you are some sort of wonder mouth that's able, some sort of reverse engineering machine that's able to put a piece of KFC in your mouth and immediately start just reeling off thyme, cumin, salt.
Is there truth behind this, Matt?
No.
Oh, no.
Although bizarrely, I was once given a large cardboard box with 2 handholds and no way to see what's inside the box, and I did identify correctly a 3-course meal, including the dessert, which was a Boost bar. Purely by touch. So I do have some strange superpowers when it comes to food.
You do have diagnostic ability. What do you think if you held a Zinger burger, you might be able to tell what one of the secret herbs and spices is?
I think it's highly unlikely. I'd be holding a Zinger burger because I tend to nip round to my favourite local family-run burger joint, the very fine Andrews. Whenever I have one of those hangovers that requires the very special combination of crunch.
There is actually one thing I've just remembered. I reckon I live not too far away from the area you live in because there's a burger place near my house that says world's best burger as voted by MasterChef Matt Preston.
Yeah, oh dear.
Are they having a laugh there? Because I always drive past that. I drive past and I go, I don't reckon he did do that, or he did it.
It's terrible. I think this has been going on for like 10 years. I once wrote a piece for The Age on Melbourne's best burgers. I named my favourite burger joint in Melbourne and a couple of others around the state. One of those burger joints, which was named by the readers as their favourite, was a place in North Fitzroy. They subsequently opened a second branch in St Kilda, transferred the fact that it was a reader's favourite. It then got sold to someone else, and the claim still sits on the window. It's a total crock.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be your favourite because they're not that good.
It happens. It does happen a fair amount. You write a review on the internet. It's beautiful. If you write a review, people bring you 12 years later, I went to this place and it didn't serve French food at all. I said, well, maybe the name bow tie on the window might have given it away.
Well, it's we didn't find out the 11 secret herbs and spices, but we have righted a burger wrong.
Matt, thank you for joining us on Matt Preston's favourite radio show of all time, voted by Matt Preston, the Business Brunch. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Bizarrely, that is more claim in truth than anything else. But you know, there are, if you get on the web, you can find sites where scientists have got spectrometers and various other things and trying to analyze exactly what these flavorings in leading fast foods such as Coca-Cola and KFC are. So you can actually do that, and you're pretty right on the money with the thyme and the cumin, I think.
Oh, there you go, Ham.
Look at that, Blake knows.
That guy got it covered.
This guy got it covered. I've done my research. Thanks, Matty.
Thanks, Matty.
Hey, guys.
Ando, is it just me or is it time for a Hamish and Andy special report?
Business Brunch Special Report. Live from Hong Kong. Yes, Japan, we can hear you. It is America. Come in.
Whoa, I forgot that we had that. That's
Do you know
good.
why we have that?
Why?
It's only for special occasions when Hamish and Andy have looked into something more than about 2 minutes worth.
Yeah.
This is something that I actually have done some research on, Ando.
Nice of you.
Dozens and
Andy.
dozens and dozens of minutes on this yesterday, and I now am here to present my findings.
Right.
It all started when company man Martin Sander Burns wrote in, and he said, under recipes, I guarantee you that every 80s sitcom will have had at least one episode named Recipe for Disaster. And at least one implies sometimes two, and I don't think they ever would have different episodes named the same thing.
Yeah.
But I went, you know what? Sitcom episodes, if you ever look them up online and stuff like that, especially 80s sitcom episodes, always do have pretty cheesy titles to them. So I went, Martin, I reckon you're probably right. So I went online and just started typing in all the sitcoms I could remember to find out how many of them had a recipe for disaster and how many of the plot lines were similar in episodes for different shows called Recipe for Disaster. First thing I went, well, Family Ties is going to have one. Yeah. It does not. No Recipe for Disaster. You've got Keaton versus Keaton, a very Keaton Christmas.
Yeah.
Nah. Full House. Full House is going to have a recipe for
Of course. They've got the twins, they've got John Stamos.
Kitchens in every show.
Yeah.
No Recipe for Disaster.
Gee, I'm starting to think that...
Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
Cousin Belky.
Yeah.
He's a walking recipe for disaster. He's got to have done something disastrous based with cooking. No. The Cosby Show. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking.
Exactly.
That's a family that's got things to do, got things to cook. Yeah. Got
Rudy's hanging about.
Theo's got to make a cake for school. Yeah. No. Although there is, season 3, episode 2 is called Food for Thought. Although it's not really food based.
Okay.
Cheers.
Oh.
Isn't there a
Ted Danson
kitchen attached to that pub?
Frasier.
No Recipe for Disaster. Murphy Brown.
Oh, wow.
That did 10 seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to have a Recipe for Disaster. They did 250 shows. No Recipe for Disaster. I was beginning to think no one had even explored the plot line of cooking gone wrong until I looked at Family Matters.
Great. Steve Urkel. Did I do that?
Season 1, episode 14.
Yeah.
It could have been called Recipe for Disaster. It, in fact, was called Baker's Dozen.
Okay.
But have a listen to this plot synopsis, and you tell me it shouldn't have been called Recipe for Disaster. Rachel persuades Carl to sell his secret recipe for lemon tarts to a local restaurant. The family then gets a huge order for the treats, 12,000 tarts. And with less than 48 hours to fulfill the contract, this results in a huge food fight, and in the end, it ends up not being a very good idea. The family only makes $24 in profits.
That's a recipe for disaster.
That's a recipe for disaster. Baker's Dozen. 12,000. When is 12,000 at Baker's Dozen? What baker are you going to? 13 max for a Baker's Dozen. So then I started to think, has anything ever been called Recipe for Disaster? The only thing I could find that sort of fit this category of, like fun TV episodes, in 2004, an episode or a DVD of What's New Scooby-Doo was released with 4 short Scooby-Doo adventures on it. One was a Scooby-Doo Christmas. The second story was Toy Scary Boo. The third story was Homeward Hound. The fourth story was a recipe
For
for disaster. Finally,
Great
2004,
report. Great
someone
report.
did it.
That's all we got time for. This business
Always
brunch.
good to end on a special report.
Yeah, which really disproved the theory that every single 80s TV show has it.
No one thought of it.
Yeah, no one thought of it.
250 episodes, Murphy Brown. You quit because you thought you were out of ideas. You weren't.
Thank you for being with us. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
Adieu.
That was the Hamish and Andy Show podcast, powered by Amy. Lucky you're with Amy.